To know who we are, and where we're going, we must know how we arrived here. Welcome to Rephetic, a revolutionary study of the Great Pyramid, which promises to rewrite civilization's history. Hot Mike, Uncle Steve, Brother Steve, welcome to the Rephetic podcast. What's up?
Well, we are at the dawn of the early day here.
Yeah, oh dark 30. How you feeling?
Well, it sounds like rain on a hot tin roof.
That's the dog's nails.
That's the clippings of the dog
Yeah.
on the floor.
Hi, puppies. Hey, try and get closer or scoot in, and then it's directional too, right? Dude, keep your coffee in frame, as we say.
Oh, yeah. Your cat's out there. Now, how come it's not working over there?
Well, that's just the computer's not working.
I'd like to look at myself. That's why they make mirrors.
Yeah. Hey, we've known each other quite a while, haven't we?
Well, my whole life. And most of yours.
The dog's got a ball. He keeps finding Timmy's ball. Hey, come here. Give that to me. We're going to hear him bounce it for an hour. Anyway, so we are live. Steve, I'll get it from him. It adds flavor and character.
You know,
Tell
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
With the headset on. Hey, dog. We don't know how loud we're being.
Oh, you mean for the rest of the house? Yeah, cue to the audience, it's 5 a.m. at the Hemstock Homestead.
And you got to take your opportunities where you find them. And where we found this one was at 5 in the morning.
I know. Deep at the Hemstock Homestead in the Northwoods.
We call it a compound.
The compound. The compound. Yeah. Well, it is that. Minus the armed guards and the sphinxes at the road. No, you don't need that. 5 a.m.
Do you know, as far as the sphinxes go, you can sculpt large scale anything out of we gotta have to shoot the dog.
Yeah. Hey, come here.
You can sculpt large or small sculptures out of styrofoam. The 2-inch styrofoam, and glue it together and shape it the way you want to.
Right.
And then overlay that with fiberglass mesh and resin, and you can build whatever you want. You can build your sphinxes down at the end, or the
fiberglass,
St. Louis arch across the driveway there. You just piece it all together,
right,
all the way around, and then overlay it.
Yeah,
you got yourself a rigid,
the set builders and modelers, right? They've known this forever.
Yeah, right.
As long as there's been foam, anyway.
I think that's where we got the idea. Well, there was foam on the seashore. They weren't building models out of that.
It's not quite polyfoam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I think you could build a whole house out of that. I have a whole construction platform.
Right.
And,
advanced material, but not carbon fiber.
If we make enough of them. I think polyurethane foam and fiberglass resin is pretty advanced.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not discounting it.
In the eternal scheme of things, it's pretty new.
And it'll last for a while.
It'll last for a long while. And if we ever build enough of them, we'll ask John Cougar to do the theme song. We'll have whole residential neighborhoods made out of the pink foam,
right,
overlaid with fiberglass.
Right. Okay.
And he can do the song.
Yeah. So listen to the point that
say the song.
Little pink houses. Yeah, okay, of course. Right.
Yeah. Just in case younger people will be like, "What? Who's Mellencamp?"
I know. Listen, the other day I told I forget who it was, but I was like, that's an old George Carlin line.
Was he the president?
She looked at me like I was from Mars. Right. And I'm like, just look it up, will you? Come on, George Carlin? You don't know who George Carlin is?
He was the first president, I think.
Oh, my goodness. Well, that's just a function of age. Get out of there, dog. Come here, Frost. Come here. Up. Come here. You want to get on camera?
Yeah, Carlin was one of the, I mean, as far back as I can remember, he did the 5 words or whatever.
7. Get a little
7
closer.
Words, right.
Yeah.
And as a young person still forming his vocabulary, those are the basic building blocks of my street credit and language.
Come here. Up. Hi, Frosty. You want to say something? What?
Now, do you find people get
down.
become self-conscious of the video?
What? Do I find people?
Yeah,
no. 3 more minutes, you're not going to notice it. But no, who cares? Listen, yeah, it doesn't matter that there's billions of people watching YouTube videos. It does not matter at all. And to the point what we were talking about last night is if you never knew how many viewers you had, it wouldn't matter, right?
Yeah.
It totally wouldn't matter. But this is just you and I having coffee at 5 a.m. in the woods, in your classically built home here. With the dog's nails everywhere. Jeez.
Yeah, I told you that about Seinfeld, man. You see that stuff now, what they're doing, these guys, or artists, if you want to call them that.
Yeah.
Although I don't think they call themselves that a lot of times. But you see him, he was getting, I think, $1 million an episode.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all the old-time sitcom guys, and their co-stars were getting like $500,000.
Yeah.
Per episode, so like the Costanzas of the world and whoever else.
Yeah.
$500,000.
It's good to be in a supporting role.
But you see now
buddy.
that he likes cars, and you go back and you watch the old Seinfeld stuff, and he's got the Porsche photos up on the wall. And he's a real Porsche buff. He knows all about all of it.
Yeah.
He's got a collection of stuff that you wouldn't have that insight going into a thing, but afterwards.
Oh yeah.
And you just pick this stuff up about people.
Jay Leno's garage.
You relax a little bit. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, we did some stuff that we done some stuff that he's got. I think he's got 1 or 2 GTX ones that we did.
Oh.
And I know the one red car. I know that I got a photo of him with that.
Oh yeah, nice.
But I never met the guy. He looks like a nice enough guy.
Sure, yeah. Boy, he's really in his element though. Really in his element with the cars.
I think he enjoys it.
Do you want to just sit there the whole time?
It does appear to. It seems like he is, the quintessential car guy.
Car collector.
I don't know if he was an ever actor or not or whatever.
Comedian.
But he for sure is the mechanic.
Yeah. He definitely is. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So anyway, we can go whichever way we want with this. But what was I going to say? Oh, so along the housing pod thing, I had a sketch. I don't know where it is, but anyway, the short version is just like the old zipper carnival ride.
Yeah.
Just make your pods. They're all connected on a central shaft.
Oh, yeah.
A lot like the Matrix.
These are eggs, aren't they? Eggs. Well, we talked about this.
But a little carbon fiber or fiberglass, whatever. But everything connects to this main shaft. Your water, your gas lines, your sewage, whatever.
Well, if you called it a womb and use the connection as the cord.
Yeah, right. Sure.
Just
works fine.
Copy what already is working. And these are living pods.
Yeah, but the point.
Is it in space or?
No. Just and it's vertical. Depending on your space availability. Mm-hmm. Look at this guy.
The dog wants his own pod.
You what?
Is there a dog pod?
I'm sure there is.
on the zipper wheel?
Roof. Anyway, so I drew that out one day. I don't know. But the thought was go vertical, instead of...
Well, that's true in building. Yeah, your space is most... Your space is...
Do you want to say hi? Say hi.
Economic...
Will you get down?
To go up. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Same foundation, whatever.
Okay, no, you got to get down. You got to get down.
But them old farmers, just to stretch the dollar out as far as they can, or the yen, as the case may have been, because they have farmers, in other countries also. I don't know if you knew that, but they do. Well, they can build a pole building, and they stretch it out wide without that foundation. Save yourself a couple of bucks on the foundation.
Other countries? What do you mean? I don't understand.
Yeah. Outside the empire, I'm saying.
Oh. Dun, 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 dun,
on the far distant moon of Tatooine.
Right.
Or whatever.
Yeah. I think it's Tatooine.
Well, like I say.
Anyway, dude, Star Wars fans are just obsessed. Yeah. Everybody's obsessed with something. Yeah. So give us a snapshot of yourself. So I will say yesterday we finished up this Ferrari dash. Yeah, I'll probably take some other, just maybe a little video, give people time and context of where we're at. But we worked yesterday, and I'm driving back today. So I've been up a couple times this year, but
the pattern of, or the cycle, the emotional involvement with the job, to prepare, to think about, to create, execute, right? And the release when it's done, like the finished dash. Like, I don't know how many times throughout the night I probably woke up or thought of the finished part, dashboard on a car, which in the daily life of who cares, right? You're just driving, whatever.
Yeah.
Until it's your dash and you do care. It's like your little, sore muscle that you didn't know you had.
Yeah, do yoga the first time. You're like,
people care about their stuff, and but it's hard to do it, right? And it's not slapstick, and it comes at an emotional cost. We're compensated, but I don't know.
Isn't that true of everybody's work, though?
If it is, if you're making an Excel file in the giant tower in the city,
yeah.
I suppose when you're done and the release of the burden of the file, the interdepartmental file,
yeah,
and then that's done. You've been working on a report. You send it up the ladder. Everybody likes it. Yeah, I suppose that's probably true. The labor, right? The sleep of the laboring man is sweet.
Yeah. Care, craft, whatever you want.
Isn't it more comfortable on this side of the?
Yeah, I don't want to pick up another piece.
Saying, right, the cycle's complete, right? It's a week cumulatively into the thing, and you hose the whole thing off, and it's done. And now you get to take your mind and wait for what's next, like a linebacker, you know what I mean, on the field of life.
Next play,
okay, who's coming? I'm going to crush that little devil as soon as he crawls across that line.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool, though, to have that offer.
Yeah, and then on that front, so some of the highlights, your work, my work, our work together, whatever. I mean, you came down to Chicago at what, 19? Were you 19 then?
Just pretty young, yeah.
And
I don't know if I was even that old.
Yeah. And so...
May have been, yeah, I guess, probably.
Uncle Joe had showed me a little bit of the sewing craft, and I'd basically been sewing since I was 10, but then more earnestly, like I had my first full-time job was sewing at a Woolrich factory with 150 women. So the inside seam of the pocket, right? I told you know this story, but I would sit there. I was drunk and hungover, and I would sew 1,500 pockets in a day, and I couldn't wait to get the hell out of there. Yeah. But then more work, more craft, more training. Uncle Mike, Uncle Joe kind of showed us the deal, and then
eventually the mundane becomes, right, the masterpiece. Like, now you just got to count out like 72 stitches that formulates this integral dash piece or assembly, in not 1,500 pockets anymore, just
1,500 stitches.
No, yeah,
or whatever.
Just 72, right? It's just the That's just that amount. After all them stitches for all those years.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
Just hone it back to just the cream. Just apply cream here.
Right. And kids are not going to understand this. You know, I'm doing whatever. But long-term craft, long-term care, whatever. What are some of the highlights of your working life?
Well, there's the work and the body of the body of work, the cars, right? I don't know. There's so many cars. But the people's probably where the work is done. The important work is for sure in the people, right? The people that own the stuff, the people that are building the stuff, all those people, and the experience that comes off of that. I guess probably you don't know as a young person going in, right? You don't know all the people. Like if you're going to be on a sitcom or whatever, you don't know all the production stuff that's going on behind the scenes, right? You don't know all these guys, coordinators and everything, support. You just wouldn't know it. I don't know how I don't know, do they teach this stuff? I suppose they do. But so many people involved in so many ways to produce the different facets of life. You know, the doctor, he's there doing his thing. The nurse is doing her thing. Anesthesiology, you got to have that guy. You don't want to miss that. That's going to be
Bite
important.
down on this.
Which I was reading on the income levels and stuff. Anesthesiology, these guys are are the highest paid from the data I was reading.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the country. I think it was country data. But I think the report was written by universities, so they're not counting people that are, freelancers. You know what I mean? They're not counting, they're counting more structured income styles.
Yeah, right. Sure.
And saying that you could be a lawyer, doctor, politician, whatever.
Sure.
You'll make $200,000-$300,000.
Yeah, meanwhile, you could own a McKesson medical, or you could invent a thing, and obviously I've seen stuff on that too.
Do you think there's fewer of those, so few of them, or do you think they were just completely obtuse and didn't? Not that would be. They do it willingly and say, we're only going to count these trades.
Yeah, the listed
ones
professions
that we assist in building, and not the rest of the free world of ideas.
My buddy Danny Beecham would do service on tables and stuff. So he'd show up, fix whatever's going wrong, Like if the tools don't work and the equipment doesn't work, you can't do the thing. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Medical service.
Oh, absolutely.
In the units, in the hospital, in the OR.
Think of all the mechanics that are going on with all that stuff.
Yeah.
Your specific everything, down to the needle and thread, scalpels, clamps, all of it, all of the mechanical stuff.
There's so much of it. Yeah, well, I mean, obviously it takes a lot to make the world go round, but like it's like a beehive, man, of course. But to the hands-on people, we could check the stat, but I think 30% of the adult U.S. population has graduated college.
Yeah, that's about right.
What, I mean, the emphasis obviously is there. There's nothing wrong with getting educated. Sure. But if you don't, or if you drop out or whatever, it's like, okay, so what are you going to do now? And then what about the lifelong learning part?
Well, yeah.
What do we read and what do we study?
It's not really a finite. I know it is ultimately finite, but I probably didn't start learning until,
30?
Yeah, I'm saying I don't know when I put my thinking cap on, but prior to that, it was just data assimilation.
And recall. It's like you're smart if you can recall this data. Well, now we got Google and Chat GTP.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's recall. It's automated
information recall. I don't need all that, dude. Go back to phone numbers. You just remember them all.
Used to, yep.
I still remember clients' phone numbers right now. 892-1600, 434-5000. What I got all these phone numbers in my head.
You know, it's funny, from being a young professional, I realized that I was good with voices. People would call up, and you just get, like, you answer the phone, hello, and the guy says, hey, and, you know, one of 200 people that, whatever, right, that you might know, and you know that that's Todd, you know, or whoever. And I do this with movies now, like, especially if it's an animated thing, right, and you'd be like, isn't that...
Because that's all you're picking up, yeah.
You get the voice. Isn't that, you know, Cousin It from...
Yeah,
or
of
whatever.
course, sure.
Well, of course, a guy like Kelsey Grammer, he's easy to pick up, you know.
Yeah.
You hear the old Sideshow Bob on The Simpsons, and you think, well, I know that guy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And,
Or, you know,
others.
Kevin Spacey or...
Morgan Freeman would be obviously
Yeah.
a recognizable voice.
Yeah.
But the more obscure ones are hard.
The day I met Andy Dufresne.
Yeah. Man, you're a Rembrandt. Yeah, now that I read that whole book, and I was just thinking about it the other day for the kids. You know, we're pretty careful with what the kids, what material we're willing to let them assimilate.
Yeah.
You know, because of the aforementioned assimilation process and the lack of application. So we're careful with what the little people are assimilating.
How many little people?
For data. Well, not including the older married. There's 11 of them. There's 11 little humans.
11 humans.
Yeah, that are not ourselves.
Yeah. Plus you guys is 13.
It's our gift. Yeah, plus us, right? And it's our gift to the world. It's 11 people that are just like us. They're not us, but they're like us.
Right. And, well, the world's better off for it.
You
but
know,
we are having a population decline in most areas, so...
We hope the world will be better for it. That's what we're
endeavoring. Yeah, they're really joyful.
That's what we are endeavoring, to try to make the world a better place in our own way.
Yeah.
Now, some folks, maybe you wouldn't want to duplicate that. But I'm not the one to say whether you would or wouldn't. That we'll leave that up to a higher pay grade.
Yeah, so you were saying voices, animation, assimilation, exposing kids to media, film, this and that, radio. Dude, radio plays and all this stuff. Kids' books. Like, there's so much.
Well, you mentioned the Shawshank with King.
Yeah.
That would be a material that I wouldn't want my young people to I just wouldn't. I want them to know so we could do like what we're doing.
Yeah.
But
well, not yet.
But I don't want them to know.
Just let them find it on their own.
At a more tender.
Formidable, yeah.
Those kinds of that kind of mental arena, right? The idea of the ideas of prison psychology, right? I don't want my 11-year-old to even consider that,
right?
Or those things are violating senses and sensibilities they don't even know they have yet. So, I mean, the subversion of the entire populace via entertainment. No, I'm not. I'm not a prude. I don't think I wouldn't consider in those regards, but we do on purpose protect the developing mind from subversion, right?
Yeah.
And then later on, when they have more of a capacity, to differentiate what's real and what's just, artistic expression, right? Maybe when you're 40, you could handle Shawshank.
Yeah.
Look, It, the story It. I stopped consuming media product for about the last 20 years, only recently to resume.
Come here.
And I see that they made that a movie videos, and then remade a movie. Yeah. So I've missed like 2 cycles, right? But I got to tell you, I mean, I remember those characters and reading that type of material as a young person. And I really enjoyed, the experience that I just said that I would deny my own little people as I was young. Yeah. I did enjoy it. But I just decided the other day that, you know what? I don't have 2.5 hours or 3 hours to give that guy. I'm not going to beat my own spirit up with material that it's not something that's going to, it's just...
it doesn't contribute necessarily. It's not entertaining.
And it's going to hurt me. It might be entertaining, but it's going to hurt me. The net effect is that it's going to put... like a little person, which I endeavor to be more like, it will subvert me. I'll go out there in the world today thinking about the 13 characters I read about this morning, or whatever, or saw over the weekend on a film. And now it's got me in a place that I don't want to be, thinking things that aren't my thoughts, that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this is the degradation of the whole society. We do have to have a thermometer somewhere to say, hey, wait a minute, this ain't good. This ain't good for me. It ain't good for a kid.
And that's why.
Not that they can't do it.
Right.
Let them do what they want.
Yeah. And
I'm not going to consume it is all.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I don't, I mean,
is that fair to say that, somebody would have the
personal filter
autonomy to say, you know what? If you want to tattoo a spider web on the side of your head, it's your head. But I probably won't. I'm me. Yeah, I'll probably not.
Yeah.
I'm going to sidestep the thing. But I mean, people do body art.
Yeah.
Outstanding citizens in the community doing all kinds of stuff that own the tattoo shop. You know what I'm saying?
My buddy is coming on.
I don't know how.
A week from Wednesday. He's a fantastic guy.
But that's what they're into, and it's fine. It's cool. Yeah. But I get to employ the same freedom, intellectual.
Yeah.
And it seems to me that it's been very aggressive, and I don't know if you can even boil it to liberal, conservative, that kind of thing. That seems very,
shallow.
It's not. Those aren't descriptive enough, right? Mm-hmm. There's a lot more.
Yeah, but so each person applies their own autonomy, their own sovereignty to filter yay or nay. And I've commented a couple times, but especially if you're plugged into media, social media, you name it, whatever the thing is, you got to filter your own, you got to monitor your own thing, turn it off, decide what you're exposing yourself to or not.
Yeah.
I'm not to say that there are limits, like let's just say in the intellectual exploration, or let's say long term. Even story, period, parables, period. They're there to teach us something, right? And there's no shortage of what to learn. You know what I'm saying?
Keep going. I'm going to get some coffee.
Yeah. Well, we'll just pause. We'll pause, get some coffee break. Oh, sorry. Is that too loud for...
I don't know. But, you're talking about conditioning just now. When's the last time a guy got up and walked out of a movie theater? This is trash, right?
Well,
I'm not giving this guy another.
I'm not going to say which movie.
I would do it without a second, without a
giving it a second thought.
Absolutely, I'm out of here. I know I just gave him my $30 or whatever.
Yeah.
You're not getting 15 minutes more of my time. It's just trash.
Yeah. Yeah. Some.
And our kids, I never brought them to, never been into a movie theater.
Yeah, some, not all. But, I'll give you an example, man. Like, I hate to relate it. Well, it's just like any story. If you watch, let's say, the top couple Oscar-nominated films, the point of film, the point of art, I mean, obviously, you may come from the glorified God aspect, right, of music or singing or art or whatever. But just to everyone also is like a reflection on the human condition. It's like maybe it's things I didn't go through. I haven't been to prison, I just talked to two of my buddies that have. Well, when they share that story, I can see and look at myself in that environment. So, any number of great literary works. So,
well, that's it, right? First person gaming. Like you read Hemingway, Old Man in the Sea. I'm with the old man. I'm in the boat, right? It's my hands where the rope is slipping through.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? First person. It's a first person. What do they call the game? Action play, whatever.
Yeah.
Right? First person role play, action,
Live.
whatever.
Yeah. And it's all live now.
Yeah, it's funny because we we made a decision to basically withdraw from a lot of this stuff for quite a number of years. So the whole world has got itself in a hurry to stick with the Shawshank theme, but the world went and got itself in a big damn hurry. The old man says,
Yeah.
And it has, but the gaming, all of a sudden we're sitting there looking on the old computer there, and I see a motorcycle race off of YouTube or whatever.
Right.
I don't know how I even got it or where it came from or anything like that. I just happened to, there it is. I click on the thing, I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking, these guys are crazy. It's raining, and they're racing these bikes through this cross course. And it's incredible, and I'm telling my wife, I'm saying, Kelly, look at this. Look at these guys are nuts. Like, he's going to crash. He's going to crash. And he doesn't crash. None of them crash. And it's a game. It's
right.
a game the whole time.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm looking at it closer. I'm like, isn't it raining? Is it raining? Is it real? Is it not real? And I'm honestly looking at it. I mean, I was totally taken in. So to the guys that created the work, hey, bravo, right? Like, bravo.
Yeah.
To that. But to the subterfuge, it's like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, there's the immersive aspect. Like, be careful, man. It's crazy. Listen, it's going to get so crazy for people that are plugged in, right? The immersive, the Ready Player One, the Matrix. It's already sitting there. And then also the deep fakes. Like, they can go... right now, there's deep fakes out there. Rogan having a discussion with a podcast with Obama or something. I forgot who it was.
That's not real, you mean?
It's not real.
Oh, splicing fragments of reality.
It's AI. It digests any one of a billion words that he said.
Yeah.
And it just puts them together with the other person. That's it. Simple.
So like the weather report, you just can't trust anything anymore, right? You can't. Like, I saw an eagle come in and swoop up like a 2-year-old out of a city park or something.
Oh, that one's 15 years old.
Yeah, I know. And I'm looking at that and going, it looks real. But I think, how can a bird pick up a kid? You know, he can't.
Yeah, but listen, we're entering a phase where unless the person's in front of you,
that's right.
Don't trust anything.
How about that? I'm already there. I am there. Like empty words, right?
Sure.
Do what you say what you're going to do. That's it, right? That's it for me. Say what you're going to do and do it. That's it.
Yeah.
But whatsoever, anything more than that, whatever, empty words.
Yeah. And then just in terms of experience, I have played video games. Like, we grew up on Pong and Centipede and all these things, right? I mean, I remember going down to the arcade they had there in Ishpeming, and we would play that stuff. Dragon's Lair, you name it. It was great stuff, fun stuff.
I just mentioned Tron to a guy the other day. And I was young enough to where I don't think I could grab the handle on the Tron. And I just told somebody at work, I said, but my brothers are older than I am, so they could play it, and I'd sit there and watch it, you know what I'm saying? But Jeff Bridges did that, right? The new one, which is probably 10 years old or 15.
Right.
But I saw that it's Tron, and they did great. It was the new one is really good.
Jeff Bridges.
He was in the old one, too, wasn't he? Same guy.
Yeah,
he was.
So. Yeah.
He was the original Tron character.
Right. And True Grit, I think he does True Grit. It's just great.
Yeah,
man.
Now that's John Wayne, right? True Grit that's a John Wayne.
Yeah. I like the Jeff Bridges version.
I don't know if you ever enjoyed any of the John Wayne stuff through the years, but he's great. If you listen to him talk when he's drunk, it's an award ceremony, right? He don't care. It's the Duke, right? And he just... I think he's the guy on the screen that we know and love. That's like might be mostly the real guy. Like he's just showing up.
Yeah, it's a performance, not acting. Right.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, personal. That's so a funny Nick Cage critique. It's like, here's Nicolas Cage playing in the new Nicolas Cage movie.
Yeah. I don't. He's somebody's kid, right?
He's the nephew of Francis Ford Coppola, I think.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I can hear it clinch up there. You don't want to say too much about it or against.
Yeah, I don't want to offend anyone.
The empire.
Yeah, but okay, so obviously, listen. I mean, this cultural, the immersion, the whatever. But I was saying playing games. I mean, I've got a seriously addictive personality. But, and I guess, there's a couple things I never got addicted to. Cleaning. Not once. doing laundry.
That's funny.
But gotta step away, man. Step away. Like, it's taken how many hours? Like, there's gaming recovery centers right now. My kids not my kids, but kids are playing 18 hours a day, man. 36-hour tear.
When you had to invest a quarter of your money, which at 12, it's pretty precious.
Yeah.
You can only get so far in the game, right? And depending on your socioeconomic class or position, you only had so many quarters, right?
Yeah.
But, I mean, you could pull off Centipede on the home ColecoVision and, you can play that till your thumbs hurt, right, when these things came out.
Yeah, and calluses on your thumbs.
The first Nintendos, I mean, this is like, if you got Video Killed the Radio Star, well, the take home, along with the VCR and pizza, 30 minutes or less, that little video game console, I think they're producing more revenue than Hollywood in gaming.
Oh, sure, yeah, I think so.
But you couldn't spend that much time on Tron or any of that stuff. You you didn't have the money.
Right.
You couldn't have done it.
And or you'd beat the game, it'd be done. That's it. You're not going any further.
Yeah, and what society would not have presented, they wouldn't have known. Like grown-ups would have said, you're not going to sit here for 16 hours playing this game. There's, what I mean? No reasonable person would have went along for that until we were subverted, little at a time,
yeah.
To where the amount of murders, first-person murders that you've witnessed, after
in
playing,
the game,
yes, and on the news, and on the
and listen to people's,
particularly
people's
with gaming,
But here, so there's the small subset of this population, right, where they can't differentiate the real from the false, right? There's studies. No, I know.
I don't know how small it is anymore. Like we were just saying,
it's pretty small. It just is pretty small.
But was Rogan with the president or not? I can't differentiate anymore. I wouldn't even know. And then as far as
it was Steve Jobs. It was Rogan to Steve Jobs.
Yeah,
anyway, but okay, but anyway.
Well, see, now I could do John Wayne. I could sit down with the Duke. If you splice that together, and then halfway through he'd spill his drink and take a swing at me.
Come here, you rascal. Yeah, but okay, but even also there are studies that show the cognitive increase in intelligence or processing from certain types of games, things like this. It's not there. No one thing is all good or all bad or whatever the case is. So. But when
cumulative effect.
Sure, but when it comes to like, here's my personal time, here's my entertainment time or whatever, here's what I'm going to invest my time in. Walden, he's going to take a walk, man. Or he's going to, chop down a tree, build his house. I mean, where are you going to spend your time? What are you going to learn? What are you learning from sitting for 16 hours? I don't know.
I don't know either. Well, you know what you learn? You're learning synapses in your brain that may not be so easily undone.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you plant a tree on top of your drain field for a septic system because, you're newlyweds and this is your first house and whatever, and you're not thinking that nice little tree is going to cause you any problems at all. But, man, a little bit down the road, the scripture talks about what great a matter a little fire kindles.
Yeah.
And sure enough, man, that little kid playing with matches,
Yeah.
All of a sudden you got the centerpiece on fire.
In our house as a kid, yeah. Get that outside. We rush it to the door. There's melting of the vinyl. It did. Listen, Steve and I set fire to the two neighbors down in their backyard, dried grass and this and that. All of a sudden,
it's yeah.
Kids playing with
and
matches.
some of this isn't that fast acting or that kind of bad deal. But you got.
Oh wait,
you got.
Keep going. But to back up for viewers, a septic system is where all your sewage goes into a big tank and then it bleeds out into the earth.
Yeah, individual or private sanitation management device, as opposed to
that's pretty technical.
The universal sewer line that runs outside.
Yeah, municipal, right? Sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for the few rural people, they know what that is. But I'm just saying. So what happens with the roots would be get down in there, bust up the septic system, and then you have a drainage problem in your house. But it's long. It takes a long time.
I thought you were talking about apples that taste like poop.
Well, that could be, or someone's just making that pie wrong.
Poop pie.
No, I meant the roots getting down in there, ripping stuff up. What I mean is, okay, so you got all the gaming, right? You got a pornography industry that is so successful that young people are identifying and suffering erectile dysfunction, pornography-induced erectile dysfunction, right?
Yeah.
Then, and my media coming out as it stands right now, like a little virgin here trying to figure out what's what. Well, I didn't know, along with the motorcycle races, how incredible gaming porn is. I didn't really know it was a thing, but it's a thing, and I'm hoping my wife will get into it. I mean, it is off the chart, right? Like, come on. Now, you got all the right ingredients for a bad outcome. You got young people that are compulsive, impulsive, lack of discipline,
obsessive,
and
right.
You're hitting them in just exactly the right spots where they don't have the ability to be able to self-govern through those things without mixing up some of their psyche.
Yeah.
And I guess the only reason why I made commentary on it was that we're subverting ourselves slowly, but very thoroughly.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you go down a road and you see somebody that needs something, and like no one's gonna stop. You see a guy walking down in the middle of winter without a coat on. Nobody's gonna stop and give him their coat.
Some people do, yeah.
But not many. Not many. Some people might.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, not to be Pollyannish, right? But I mean, I'm surrounded by, obviously, and you are too, but it's like, there's goodness, there's wholesomeness, right? There's community, there's brotherhood, sisterhood. All is not lost. I mean, it's just not. Because
I agree.
If we thought it was, well, you just pack in with the rest of them.
No, I agree.
So
it's like the old saying, heroes are made, they're not born.
Yeah.
And so people have a chance to do a right, or if you want to say, to do a good thing or a right thing. We have the capacity to love our neighbor.
Yeah.
Maybe
I don't like the do the right thing philosophy.
No,
but it doesn't apply in a lot of situations.
But people, if you give them the chance, it's like I tell people at work, we have a sales, we make a sales effort at work, and I tell our salespeople, because I don't want to willingly mislead, or lie.
Right. You mean you can sell something and be honest?
I'll try to be honest and say that I don't want it to be able to be discovered.
You don't want to get caught in the fibs or the whatever.
It might be a more accurate statement to say that.
That's okay.
Than an overt.
Yeah, don't lie. I don't want to lie ever.
I don't. That's what I feel. But the truth is that you could go through a long mental gymnastics.
A full
in
disclosure
that
about
kind of
everything.
area. Yeah. So we can be the dog's playing the piano back here now. I don't forget this on you. Does he
Oh.
know, does he know Fort Elise? He could if he's taking requests.
Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Oh my goodness, this dog and the attention is just craziness. Well, okay, so
Give him a minute. The truth will come to you, is what I tell him, right? Give him a second. Give these people a chance to do the right thing, and some of them will choose it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't have to talk and fill all the empty. Just give them a minute. The truth will come to you.
Yeah, sure.
And it almost always, if you don't react, like, we could do this or we could do that. Hold on a second. There's like 1,000 other things you didn't think about in the flash of a second that you gave
just
yourself.
pause.
Yeah, man. Should we buy a house? Should we sell a house? Should we adopt? Should we try? Whatever. All that stuff. Give it a second. Calm down. Everyone's worked it up into a frenzy.
Yeah.
18 inches of snow coming tomorrow. No, calm down. It's slightly gray sky. It's cloudy. Let's just see what happens.
3 to 5. Yeah, Patty'd be happy with 3 to 5. I'm just kidding. That's a joke. Anyway.
Years.
Yeah. Yeah, for that too, sure. Well, okay. So, but you could talk about this till the cows come home. But the potential for goodness and things like that. But I've mentioned in other discussions is, it's a process of learning and maturation. If I have suffered, and I mean everybody suffers to their own degree, but if I've suffered the negative outcomes of negativity and lying or duplicitous behavior or even self-centered thoughts, that whole pattern, call it sin, whatever, get out of there. Come here.
It's just so funny because you're saying that, and I'm thinking to myself, the selfish thing. The 2-year-old says, "Mine," and takes away the ball.
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking, what's bad in that? He got the ball.
Well, but who are you going to play with?
Yeah, right, yeah. But at first, I was just thinking, well, mine goes pretty far. Right, yeah. Your wife left you. All your friends don't want to talk to you anymore.
Right.
Because
She
you're
takes
still
half the
You're still
boat.
doing mine at 48.
But
Mine.
yeah, and but this drill down on this, but because I don't see that people learn I don't learn very well from someone giving me the answer ahead of time. I got to see it demonstrated.
If that is true, we are in for big trouble because we're shortcutting with the Uncle Google for everything. They're giving you the answer. You didn't have to work the problem.
But I'm talking about emotionally, intellectually living life.
Yeah.
You can give me here's how you do it, and it's just
I know a formula, right? Yeah. Well, that works for you, but
yeah. So, but I think my estimation, none of this, old wise whatever. I don't consider myself that at all. But it's like, try it your way. Suffer as long as you want.
Yeah.
Because,
well, you can't put old head on young shoulders, right?
Okay. Yeah.
That's what parents and grandparents are for.
Well, that's what they're trying to do, but I don't know that it works real well. I think
it does.
I think the modeling does. Model the behavior, model the attitudes, model the actions, model the disciplines, right?
Yeah.
But I think, whatever, young people, obviously, they learn, I'm being selfish. I'm not sure. They get the negative outcome of that immediately. And then it's like, let me try this other way. Or the people, let's say, suffering the attention thing, the immersion thing, whatever. I'm obsessed with work. I'm obsessed with materialism or consumerism. People are obsessed with social, right?
Oh, yeah. Social angst.
Yeah, but or approval of other people.
Yeah, right.
So my point is, I guess what I'm trying to say is, for me, the learning always comes after the suffering. It's like I'm paying the price for this thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is the other way? Oh, maybe I can right that ship a little bit. Because it very rarely is like, don't do that, And even my own life, our own lives as brothers, whatever. It's like, yeah, man, we learn from all that negative, dude. Not like picking at scabs. There is no scabs really, but like we torture. I just remember torturing you as a kid. No, you're 4 years younger than me.
Yeah.
And so Cliff and I are, 9, 10, 11, 12, whatever.
So he's 5 and you're 4 years older than I am.
Yeah. I mean, who better? We're completely dysfunctional, trauma-ridden, right? And it's like, we just beat on my little brother.
Yeah. And to qualify that, really, when you say things out loud to other people about what we might think of our life or whatever, you say it out loud in polite company. And they don't. They think, "Are you okay? Do you need a drink?" Or yeah, it's just, what are you talking about? It's just life. But to polite company people, it's a little spotty back there.
Yeah,
in them days, I remember chasing you guys down the road with a knife, waiting for someone to plunge it into as a little guy, just blind rage, which is a result of the aforementioned torture. But this is what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't know how to make the right connections, and you're kind of hardwired or pre-wired maybe to make some wrong connections.
Some of it is epigenetic. It's like, here's your hardwiring.
Yeah, they make a medicine for that now. It comes in a stick.
Piece of driftwood.
Commentary on where we are, how we got here. But now, what about the other side?
Where we're going?
The B side, the contribution that we have, you and what you're doing, and that body of work project. I have this little family, and so that's kind of my, that's my.
That's your book.
Well, yeah, it's my muse, it's my everything, really.
Yeah, even a book minimizes it.
But so what now? We're writing it. Right?
Yeah,
we are writing society. We're the CGI guys of the world.
Yeah.
In our own little respective ways. So we're going to create. We're going to create these mechanisms in people, and the material, and the ideas you relay. They're going to assimilate them. Right? Mm-hmm. And now what happens? Now when a guy looks at your project and he says, how did that size of that rock get there? Right? I should have never thought this or that. And then what happens from it? And how far reaching is the input now, right? Because we are connected.
Yeah.
We're not disconnected.
No.
The thing moves over here, pull on it, and something moves over here.
Quantum entanglement.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But not magic, but person to person to person. Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, okay, is that a question?
Well, I'm just saying that.
But okay, so
now we have. I would probably frame it in a response. I don't want to limit the scope, but what's our responsibility if it were a question?
Yeah.
To the material going forward.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, is there a responsibility? Do you taint the work by applying,
an outcome, or
by saying,
here's what to do with the tools or the information.
Yeah, here's how I want you to assimilate it. Here's what I want you to do with it.
Yeah. Well, okay,
you can present the idea. You can present the solutions that you got, and let somebody go, oh boy, yeah.
Yeah.
The idea that mankind is not has been intelligent. That's not
debatable, right?
Normally, people are coming from the view that we were,
we didn't know anything,
subspecies
right?
and stupid, right? And instinctively, whatever, right? Or reduced to such a thing,
right?
Well, you have an idea, and I maintain that people have always been intelligent.
Sure.
A person is intelligent. People are stupid altogether.
Cruise.
But a person, a person is intelligent.
Yeah. Sure. And then the only thing I would add to that is, like, throughout history, Industrial Revolution, steam engine, whatever we're trying to work out, groups of like-minded people get together, and it's like we roll that stone far beyond what, like, the right people get together, and they push a given knowledge base or technology base or whatever, right? Just like what's going on at Silicon Valley or whatever. The right people have come together and they're pushing tools. Right. Right. But in the bigger scope of things, and I think you'll agree with me on this, is, at a base level, we trust people. I do, to a person. I respect people's intelligence, obviously, right? I think without the diffusion of responsibility, like, there's studies about this too, right? The Stanford prison experiments. It's like 2 steps in, these people are treating others in a way they would never have before, right? And I think there's some flaws in that study, or replicability that hasn't been fully accomplished. But that's not the point. The point is, without diffusion of responsibility, somebody else is doing it, blah, 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 whatever. And I'll just sit around and do nothing. I don't think individuals are that way. I think give people the right information, the right data. Like, we can see this in the COVID response. If you gave me the right data to begin with,
your response would have been,
and it's hard to say, I'm going to trust the entire populace to do something that's healthy, all right? It's hard to say that, but individually, it's like, we're gonna shelter the vulnerable with comorbidities,
sure,
right? And the rest of us, we're gonna just take our risk. There's risk every day. There's risk every day out there. So, to take this back to, let's say, my work or your work of raising young people or whatever's going on, I really trust people to take the information. There's a reason they got to the information or wanted to know it to begin with. For example, let's say, Liv wants to know about, lambs and breeding sheep or whatever. There's a reason they came to the question, and then trust them to learn it and then apply it, I think. So I've seen this, and you have too, but anybody, obviously, anybody that helps someone else, or people certainly in desperate need of redirecting their life, let's say, vulnerable people, right? People that need to be able to trust a good, wholesome friend or whatever. It's like, nobody does this alone. That's the point I would say to you, is no matter what let's call it a revelation, right? Information's revealed, or in this case, some root empirical reality, right? We can digest that, even if it changes our outlook on what this history is. I use the adoption analogy, right? Or we talk about childhood trauma or dysfunction or whatever the deal is. It's like, what's the outcome of that? You can spot people's, they have patternistic responses, right? Like, how many people have you heard say, well, I was in a military family and we moved like every 9 months and I found it hard to connect with people. Duh, right? I mean, come on. This is not rocket science or brain surgery, right? So on the whole, you can really argue let's just take a case in point that like the government doesn't trust the people with the JFK files. Okay, this is stupid. This is really, really stupid. You know, you don't want to talk about certain topics. Now, I'm not talking about exposure to formative minds. That's not what I'm talking about. But just adult population. Hey, we can handle it, stupid.
Yep.
Tell me what is going on. These stupid spy balloons. Maybe they're not spy balloons. Yeah. Maybe there's a university somewhere in Japan. It's like, let's see if we can get this at 60,000 feet. Sure. Guess what? We're not looking at 60,000 feet. That's what they came to. That's the reality. They weren't looking beyond the flight altitudes. Right. Okay? But when you look, wow, there's 4 of these in a week. Yeah. 4 of these in 10 days. Yeah, like, what are you stupid?
It's an engineering school. It's messing around with stuff.
That's my point, right? And so, to answer listen, pause when agitated, process the information, see what applies, what doesn't apply. If you need to rewrite the whole story, then that's what we're going to do. Yeah. We've rewritten the whole story a lot.
A bunch of times.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, individually, collectively. Mm-hmm.
Of course, yeah. And this is the adoption analogy. If your adoptive parents suppressed your adoption at birth, well, that's a thing. They shouldn't have done it. How many days do you think they say? Should we tell him? Probably every day, right? Right. If you wrong somebody or you stole or you did whatever, it's like, hey, man, I got to write this ship. I got to write this now. I'm carrying this every day.
It's interesting because I have carried an idea for a while that if a person if a person violates a monogamous relationship, I have always, or not always, but for a number of decades have told people, that's your burden. Don't dare go home and ruin her world. Right?
Right, okay.
Like, okay, so you slipped up at the gas station or whatever. And
is that where it happens?
Yeah, or whatever. Movie theater, whatever. Take your pick.
Yeah.
And but I have said suck it up. You know, big boy. Mm-hmm. Don't purge your conscience and in doing so destroy another human being. But that may not be a good course of action. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It might be better, like what you said. We carrying all that, bothering all that. You may have to just, I'm sorry, Mr. Jones. I threw the rock. I broke your window. You know, it might just be that easy, right?
Yeah.
I broke the window.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, there's one example. My oldest son, they had hid one of the neighbor's toys in the backyard, so he wouldn't find it. He was a younger kid, many years younger.
It must have been a loud toy.
Why?
Well, just because you'd hide that kind of thing, the thing that makes all the noise.
Yeah,
just
right.
Bury that thing over here.
I don't know what it was, but the kid who owned the toy, he was kind of mortified. He wanted his toy, and it turned into this big hubbub among 9 houses and 16 kids, right?
Where's the thing?
Yeah. And so my son knew, and he participated in it. And this is all the Andy Griffith thing and, prairie, whatever, little house on the prairie. It's all the same thing. But it's about owning what's real and then just moving on, man, or whatever, right? I mean, how are people ever going to learn forgiveness if they don't ever
you gotta get
ask
ripped
for
off.
it?
Yeah, and you got to get ripped off, and you got to, yeah, you want to be forgiven. I was thinking on the other side, forgive somebody, but
all of it.
But you're right, you got to want to be forgiven first.
Which means you got to do something wrong.
And then you got to seek it and make amends and say, I blew it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that.
And then the learning is, boy.
I was in my 40s before I realized that I'm sorry, actually works.
Or I was wrong.
Yeah.
My behavior, my words.
I don't really use that one.
That's so funny.
Still working on it.
I told the guys at the shop yesterday, A couple of them got a kick out of it, but it's one of my little quips. It's like, I thought I was wrong once. Turns out I was wrong.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a funny one. But anyway.
But you're right. You do need to be compromised in a lot. That's why I was talking to another guy. Pain is important.
Yeah, suffering,
right?
sure. Self-imposed, too.
It's important. It's important. Without it, your body, without pain, protecting your body, it would look like your car. Your body would look like your car.
Right.
Busted up and fingers cut off, hanging all over the place.
Yeah. Flat tire.
The pain is the teacher.
Well, okay, yeah, I don't disagree. You know, I don't know that some of this is so obvious. It is obvious, right? So my son.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you're reflective, it is.
Yeah. And I guess not everybody does that, but to make that a working part of your consciousness every day, it's like, yeah, it's self-reflective.
Tell me about this, the toy.
Oh, so
what was the?
Well, the thing was this. Him contemplating.
So I'm seeing like an adolescent witch hunt in
it wasn't that bad. You know, he's 9 or something, or maybe even 8. But contemplating, owning your behavior, and then the potential outcome.
Of the whole neighborhood knowing now that you're a dirtbag. You took and then you concealed it.
I'm looking at him, his sorrow, his fear, his shame in his own behavior.
Yeah.
It was just so, and just another human, you're like, oh my goodness.
You grimace.
Let me help you fix this.
Yeah.
But as a parent,
I can help you endure it.
Yeah. Or, hey, here's reality. Listen. If you go own it, you knock on the door, here's what could happen. Here's the potential outcomes.
Yeah.
You're afraid he's not going to want to be your friend again anymore, right? Now, that's a potential. There's another potential that maybe he just forgives you and you get over it. You stop the behavior.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, okay, no big deal.
It could be a catalyst to make him one of your very best friends.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, remember that time you took my thing or the girl?
Yeah, we're fighting over the girl.
I guess those guys probably don't ever get to be pals all that much. Yeah, remember that girl in college? Yeah. My wife, you mean?
Right.
They're probably not golfing together anymore.
No, maybe not. I got a buddy with intimate experience there. Hi, Frosty.
What do you have to add?
He wants attention. You want to be on the speaker?
I'm too poor to pay attention.
You want to be on it? So, okay, hold on. So go here. These are the possible outcomes, right? Like, explain this, explain that. But either way, you absolutely have to go do it. You just have to do it. And he went, get down. He went and did it, and that was that.
Yeah, a little kind of a theme we have used for quite a few years, and I use it on my commercially. I think it's under my website heading or whatever. But to boil it down, the right time to do the right thing is right now. Mm-hmm. You just go over and talk to the neighbor.
There is no other time than right now.
You do it right now.
That's it.
You know, as soon as you start feeling upset about something, you got a chance to do something with it.
Yeah.
To respond to the disquieted.
Yeah, discomfort, dis-ease.
Dis-ease is a word where, where you're not at ease anymore.
Yeah.
You got dis-ease. But yeah, a human being may be caring for our interrelational status. You could make amends to somebody, or you could say, like I always say, forgiveness doesn't have nothing to do with the guy that did you wrong.
Yeah, right.
Really?
It's about your peace.
Yeah. I'm not going to carry that around.
Right.
Okay, but you know what that does? That leaves you vulnerable, and I think a lot of times it makes you either appear weak or actually weak. in that you won't respond the way that you could. And once people know it about you, well, that's just him.
Yeah, but
he's not gonna,
Yeah,
like when you see
sure.
a teenager talk to a parent, right? And they're just the worst to them. Mom, this, that, whatever.
Right.
It's just a brat.
But there's
no other human being would treat it,
Yeah.
Somebody that way. But a kid will treat their mom, and their mom will put up with it, right?
Well, the first time.
No, I mean abusive.
No, I know.
When a
But
teenager's abusing their parent.
That's the thing about second time response, right?
That's what I mean, right? So if you're going to forgive somebody, and once they know it, they'll be like, oh, well, I can take his girl anytime I want.
Yeah, take advantage. Makes you more of a, yeah, until the second time.
But it is
and
worth
then
it.
it's like,
I would maintain it's worth the personal gain of cutting somebody loose.
Yeah.
Rather than the constant offense.
Yeah, and we could spend an hour talking about this topic, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just recently, somebody wants to fight with me. Their interactions, right? I mean, listen, you and I even, there's always potential to just revert to
mine.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. There's always a potential to revert to old patterns.
Absolutely.
Old
That's
models of
what
interaction.
made them patterns.
Yeah, man. But recently, I was like, this guy, truly, I think he wants to fight with his dad, right?
Yeah.
So anybody is the stand-in for the dad.
Yeah.
Okay, mommy issues, daddy issues. Right. I have them too. Everybody has them. But it's like, am I still operating out of that? No. You know what? No, I'm not fighting with you. Not doing it. Sorry.
Right,
not fighting
it's not,
with anybody.
There's no investment there.
But on the forgiveness front, or it's protection against vulnerability, right? We're smart, sentient beings, and we know vulnerabilities.
Most of us.
Yeah. Well, this dog all morning long.
Yeah,
But anyhow,
they were looking for intelligent life on other planets.
Yeah.
There's not that much on this planet.
Right. That's funny. But again, obviously, and listen, we can have more conversations, obviously. But man, trust people to give them the right information, right? Especially if they're looking already, Dude, it's right back to the Matrix. I mean, blue pill, red pill, whatever. All I promise to show you is reality. That's it. You decide. And it's not an I thing, but reality's out there, man. You want to sail the ocean? See what's out there?
Right.
You want to, Jen mentioned this when we talked also, but there was a book she read for chemistry, whatever. This kid in Detroit built his own nuclear reactor. All the information's out there, right? It's maybe not a wise idea, but trust people with the information.
Well,
okay, here's the next part of that, and I've mentioned this before too. Nobody's doing anything alone, right? We're talking here. It's like, hey, here's a topic. Here's a whatever bit of information. What do we think about that? And you talk and you share perspectives, and we learn, and now that becomes a part of our working reality, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how we're doing it. But it's not a hit and run. It's like, boom, here's your thing. Figure it out yourself. You know what I mean? That's not good. So together we do this stuff, I think. I think that's the thing. And, obviously to my work, historical implications, whatever. Man, it's like once the obvious becomes realized, it's like a magic trick. You can't imagine that you ever fell for it now that you know the trick.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all the shock there is. That's really all the shock there is. But the important part, let's say even emancipation as a young person or whatever, right? It's like, well, here's the reality. Here's the reality of the world. Oh, hey, I can't pay my rent. hey, I'm sick. Or, oh, you like skydiving in a squirrel suit? Smack into the rock. Like, I mean, there's some danger and there's life ending, and right? Yeah. But so here's some reality out there. Adjust. And then it's like, hey, that's not that big of a deal, man. That's not that big of a deal. And we live and we learn. But on the magic trick side, it's like, how could I ever have fallen for that? How could I not see this? All my senses have let me down, right? I mean, you're hip deep in or let's say you don't even understand. Oh, listen to this. Do you remember the story, Table Rock Lake in Missouri, the duck boat? There's like 27 people on this pontoon boat, and there's high winds, and this guy, they know there's high winds, there's thunderstorm warnings. You shouldn't be driving the duck boat with 27 people in it, hey? Yeah. But here's what the people did. Here's what the mass did. We're driving, the guy's driving the boat. There's life jackets throughout the boat. Yeah. They're not required to wear them.
And not one on a person.
They're stowed above, and the guy keeps driving and keeps driving. He's taking on water. And this is not just an emotional prick, but the response of the people, right? They're taking on water. They don't know how much risk they're in. I mean, blatant inaction.
Ignoring your senses.
Right. So there's things that can trick your senses, like a magic trick. And then there's
psychoses.
Denying your senses.
Yeah, like I've been in this funk for 2 weeks. Come to yourself.
Or whatever it is. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or 27 years. Yeah, you know what? I'm divorced. I never liked him. And then
Yeah, we were just young, doing what we thought we were supposed to do.
Yeah. But the duck boat people.
So what happened?
Tragedy is what happened. Some of them lived, I think. I don't know. We got to look into it. I don't know how many people lived and how many people died. There's a door at the back. Nobody panics. Everybody's instincts are just dumbed down.
It's weird. It's a weird thing.
Somebody else is in charge. I've offloaded my safety to somebody else. Yeah. This guy driving the boat.
We do that a lot.
Listen, kids, right. School bus, whatever.
He's thinking he's got the answer. I'm good. I got it. Don't worry. I got it covered.
Well, he's not being honest either.
27 souls.
He's not being honest either.
Yeah.
The airplane pilot, the drunk, or whatever. It doesn't matter.
There's a lot that goes on when you're skippering a vessel.
Yeah.
And then people are in your boat. It's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
And every other boater that's out there, it's a big deal.
Yeah, of course it is. Well, or on the road too. I mean, it's all a big deal. But the silly part, I don't understand. The part I don't understand is I'm turning off all of my senses of safety, right, and self-preservation and risk and danger, and putting it with that guy, and it sinks. And a lot of the people died.
Yeah.
Nobody says, out. Yeah. Open the back door. Right. Start shuffling. That's women and children. Yeah. Get out of this
run
boat.
For your life. That's right.
Yeah. Who does that at the right time? We're just lulled into this false sense of safety, security. Yeah. Right. That is ridiculous.
I don't know what happens.
It's robotic. And they're like, and here we are. Yes, it's always going to be the same. There's no forest fire. There's no...
Let's just stay here till it blows over.
These morons can talk about nuclear war. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, difference, and we're not going to veer off too much into political, but hey, $800 billion a year in the war machine? Mm-hmm. What are we doing? What are we doing?
I don't know. It's imperialism.
Listen, if you took all your grocery money, not you, anyone, took all your grocery money, took all your savings, took your vehicle maintenance money, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to buy a bunch of guns.
Guns, yeah, just hunker down.
Because there's a chance that someone could intrude my house.
Right.
You're sitting there, no food, no vehicle maintenance, no savings, but you got a lot of guns just in case somebody's going to invade your island.
Yeah.
Right? It's ridiculous.
You mentioned the those souls trusting that guy rather than mistrusting him. Who you invest any confidence in, right? That's critical. That's critical. Had the skipper been a different guy, right?
He wouldn't have launched.
Yeah, that's right. He could have made different decisions. You know, what's same for any leadership ever, right?
And everybody's vulnerable to mistakes.
Yeah,
right.
To fundamentally
Neglect.
invest in somebody else's leadership. like I'm not following that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta be careful who you're following.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just for keeps. It's for keeps. I'm not following some guy out on a limb. You know.
Right.
But then, if people are following you, you got to know where you're going.
Yeah.
You got to know. You got to know.
I agree.
You got to be careful. You got to admit when, boy, I don't know what to do here, fellas. Let's think this over for a while.
But right now, the duck boat pilot is Biden and Putin. No, for real, man.
Well, that's why we say
not to be alarmist and all that.
Person
but
is smart,
just
but people, I know.
maybe the time is for alarm.
Yeah,
maybe.
Probably it's fair. Given the chance, the young people or the generation coming up, given the right opportunity and the right stimuli, they will respond.
Yeah, there's a pushback. There's a blowback.
I think they would, if we're living generally, I don't even want to say in peaceful times, but comparatively to a World War II, World War I. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know there's conflicts all over. I know.
Yeah,
but
Steve Pinkerton's work is like the levels of the deaths in military.
We're living
right
in relatively benign, at least Western.
Well, come on.
So if
we're living in the castle.
If they had, yeah, right, and if they had to go out and collect our effort, heroes would be made, and people, the good in people would manifest.
Yeah, sure,
right?
Sure.
But given a vacuum of need.
Yeah, the tyrant.
I don't need to be good.
The tyrant idiot is the one that's going to look for power.
Well, yeah.
It's we could veer off into.
But the banana republic you're talking about, yeah, I don't know. If it's just one guy doing it, okay, well, I'm probably not going to go along for it. Don't pay your taxes. They never voted that in IRS. That's a voluntary thing people say. Well, I tell you what, I'm probably not gonna stick everything on the documents from the 501 chapter of what, you know what I'm saying? Like, what do you mean don't pay your taxes?
Right.
10 years from now, all of a sudden I owe $1 million or whatever. Yeah. And what? I'm not willing. If one guy, but if everybody saying, what? You guys, how many train derailments?
But, okay.
Is there something going on?
No. There's not.
Is there not? No. I mean,
there's over 1,000 a year, every year. It's it's reporting.
Okay,
it is these are the
or
facts.
is it an attack on our substructure? And I didn't know, but I'm just like, really? There's that many trains? I never saw a train accident. I don't think.
I know.
But all of a sudden, there's like trains running off the rails. I'm just saying, is someone taking the lug nuts off of these things? What's happening?
Listen, if we had reports on the number of paper cuts, you would be astounded.
Oh, I know.
No,
it's like
if
German
it was
shepherds.
the news
German
thing.
shepherds bite more people than any other.
The dog training places are filled with German shepherds.
It's probably not true. It's the little nippies that bite more people, but the shepherds get reported on because That German Shepherd bit me in the butt.
They are German. After all, they're German.
Yeah, no. They got Australian Shepherds.
We cannot have rogue Germans.
But no, you don't want that. You don't want to turn them guys loose. Did you see what they did to Audi? Those things are crazy.
They made a TT. Angela, you want to say hi? Come say hi. No? Sleepy.
Yeah, I'm just saying that they don't have.
Okay, I get it.
The reporting is an angle.
Oh, so you brought up leadership hero.
You got to trust.
Potentials.
You got to pick the right guy, or don't follow him. Don't follow the guy if the guy's not doing right.
Okay.
And how much do you have to invest in one person? You know, how much do you invest in one person, and how often are you repeatedly disappointed and let down in a sole individual?
Yeah. When do you say stop?
Well, I don't know. I think that's probably different for the situation and the leadership role, but you need decent. Well, the idea of servant leadership probably rings true.
Yeah.
You need good leaders and someone that does have to make a decision. It can't be by committee all the time.
Well, it can be.
You know what I'm saying?
It can be.
Well, I mean,
you're right.
You collect and you gather data and you got to do what you got to do, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying somebody somewhere along the line has to make a decision. You got to have a guy. You got to have a chief of police, right? You got to have a guy in a submarine that's calling the shots.
Or a gal.
Oh, yeah, on a submarine. That's a great idea. Let's put a female in there with 200 guys.
Yeah, but, okay, listen.
So that's what I would say. I'd be the guy in the room saying, hey, you know what I'm thinking?
Send 2 of them.
I mean, yeah. Yeah. And conjugal visits for the prison population. What's the deal with that? Just diffuse this. Give them that video game. Those guys in the prisons. It's ratchet the whole thing down.
Yes, okay, all right. Anyway, so we don't want to. We're not going to spend too much time on that. But I'll give you an example. Listen. Female distance swimmers, right? Markedly outperform males. Female ultra marathon. There's a gal from Minnesota. I forgot her name, but she runs the Moab 240 miles.
Yeah.
Beats all the men, hands down. Okay? Everybody's got their own unique things. Some of them are even parsed by gender. So males are good at some of this, or outperform females in some of this. Females are outperform males in some of this. It's just too cursory to check all the boxes. It really is. So anyhow.
Well, my comment would be more not very little to do with the female in that sense, and mostly to do with the men.
Yeah, I'm saying I don't think there's an academic study on who performs better in a submarine environment. Like, right? I'm just saying it's not a physical thing. They're not march the hill. It's not. It's a submarine. No. I'm just saying. Yeah, okay. Valor. Would you? Oh, wait. This is a question. No, I'm not pressing on you, but here's a question. It's like, who would you fear more?
Well,
the female bear. Who might be better at protecting the young? Who cares more about protecting the young? I'm saying. So you could look in different species, et cetera, and say, well, the female is far better in this scenario, or a group of females is far better in this scenario than any one patriarchal male, right? So I'm saying the single male leadership role, okay, I think has flaws. And it's worth experimenting, right? I'm not saying at the risk of everything. I'm saying it's worth experimenting with.
Anymore. These days, men can do almost everything women can do.
Anyway, we're not having this debate. But, a well-informed Senate of 3 or 5 people.
You should probably distribute decision-making. And if it pertains to a larger number of people, it's good to share the burden of leadership,
What? So,
but I am saying in a condition like like a mono society,
yeah,
like a submarine, People respond to leadership, dude. They just do, right? You need a good leader, and it always feels so right. You get a good guy up front. You take us over a company, turns the thing around. All of a sudden, man, everyone's hitting on all cylinders. The profits are up. They got the new expansion going.
I don't like it.
But it's true. It came from leadership. It came from a leader somewhere, or a panel of leaders that just did the right things.
Yeah, and ultimately
at the
they're
right time.
accountable to the board. I get that.
Yeah, but they did good by good leadership, and they executed what their task was.
Okay.
And whether it is a war scenario, a commercial scenario,
Right.
spiritual scenario,
Yeah.
right? They did it. It could just be playing charades, and this team and this team, picked better leader one than the other.
Yeah.
And the one team won.
Yeah, and
If you're going to keep score.
yeah, there's no shortage of
Good leadership, I'm saying, is valuable.
Yeah, but I think it's worth noting in the popular lexicon, people hear leadership, they think a certain thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's where the disconnect might be.
I agree. The word is probably
Right.
the word's not.
And so I'm sure you and I probably see it very similarly, right? Good leadership starts with service, right? It starts with
I think so.
service, accountability.
I think the word benevolent would be what I would use, that a leader is going to consider.
Put 'em together.
Or somebody, see, the word doesn't really work anymore. Leader.
It doesn't.
Leadership.
It doesn't work.
But for lack of one better at the moment,
We should make one up.
you would consider the benevolently, you'd consider what are the needs and the issues, the requirements of the group of people that you're ultimately responsible for and to. Benevolently.
Yeah.
Like, if we're soldiers, them guys need boots and guns and equipment and food, right? I got to get it for them.
Yeah.
If you're a matriarchal, pod of elephants, and they're wandering around, she got to get them to where the water hole is. She got to avoid trouble with these guys over here.
Right.
Or whatever, poachers over here.
Yeah. And we know this is intrinsic. Right?
Like you mentioned, mothers taking care of their children, fathers taking care of their families, right? Or should we move to Seattle and to go with the new, firm? I don't know. Your kid's in high school.
Yeah, let's do some research, some feedback.
Have some stuff to think about.
Yeah, who's got veto power?
Maybe it's better to do what Junior needs for a year or 2 years.
Right.
I don't know. I'm not, who am I to say, but benevolently thinking that, hey, maybe, but on the other hand, maybe it'd be better for him benevolently to put him in a new spot for the whole family and whatever.
Yeah.
Someone's got to decide.
Yeah.
Right.
I think, of course, this is all the stuff people struggle with. Not struggle, but these are present in all decisions.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Family decisions, company decisions, friendship. Like, do we go to this restaurant for our fellowship or somewhere else? But
you see leadership structure come up. One guy will say, I know what I'm going to do. Let's have it over at Denny's.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Joe wants to go to Denny's again. How come we're going there? Well, because he's the one that said it.
Yeah.
If you wanted to go over here to
speak up,
say it out loud.
So in that whole scale, somewhere, because listen,
good leaders might not even have stepped up yet, right? They're just letting these reaction types get in front of the
the elder statesman or stateswoman, right? Okay, but on balance, somewhere. So here's the thing is to understand the paradigm that we've been working in, right? That's first and foremost.
Yeah.
It's like, great man.
If you want to know where you're going, you got to know where you are or where you've been.
Yeah. I mean, again, we're not here to solve all this, and smarter people than I.
We take a good whack at it.
Yeah, well, smarter people than I are examining this, but so in this, singular great man idea, or patriarchy for the lack of the better word, but somewhere creeps in this idea of each individual somewhere creeps in this idea of a pure democracy. I'm not saying paralysis by analysis. I'm saying here's the clear options. Let's vote on it, and then you got to do the will of the group.
Yeah, in a system of government.
No. It's deciding which restaurant to go to.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I'm just saying.
in a benign way. But whether you should drill a well for water source,
right,
is different than where you're going to have brunch.
Yeah.
Or whether you'll wage war against the Canadians.
Yeah.
Because them dudes.
Oh, sorry,
They are tough as nails. I'm saying. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but you can see it from there.
Right.
And that's a hardy stock of people. You don't want to be. We love the maple leaf.
That's so funny. Yeah. Well, interesting.
I mean, those guys, if you're deciding that, now it's a whole different deal, right? I don't want just a loudmouth guy. I really don't. I really want the complicated. I want the very careful. Let's get all the data. Let's input it. Let's be careful. Let's see what we're doing.
And here's how I know this is.
But I do think someone has to make the call.
Listen, here's how I know this is wise and accurate. Okay? Here's how I know. You ready? That leader themselves ought to have and does have their own doubt in their own decision.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure. Yeah.
How come we don't talk about that?
Well, okay, because we won't allow it. Now, I do this with my family in my pod.
Yeah.
I said, I don't know what to do about this.
Yeah.
I say, well, I got this governing
principle idea,
and then this, and some these, but these two over here are in conflict.
A little shady, yeah,
right?
sure.
I got these three to go on, but these two, they're not jiving all together.
Right.
So I don't know what to do with this, but I can, and I this is not, I do this. I tell them where my
reservation,
vulnerability, where my hypocrisy might lie.
Sure.
Everyone else is going to think we should do this, but is that what we should do? Do we exact vengeance, or do we employ forgiveness?
Yeah.
Do you love your enemy, or do you choke them?
Yeah.
I mean, for real, I think it's valid, and it could be. It's not essential, but it could be very, very valuable to be able to create an atmosphere where leadership can say, and to be a leader of a family just means you're the oldest. Doesn't really mean anything more than that.
Yeah.
But if you're a commercial leader, or if you're a governmental or military leader, you can create an environment where the guy says, "Man, what do you guys think? Should we go storm the hill or no? Should we let women on the in the submarine?"
Yeah.
I mean,
but okay. And so all I'm saying is, in context, it's like we can have, single male ruler or whatever, however non-benevolent, however malicious they could be, right? So all this stuff exists in the realm of possibility.
A bad ruler would be a bad ruler, male or female. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But I'm just talking about the historic model. Okay. So, but I'm just saying that at some point, democracy, right, steps in and says, hey, it's wise to make a collective wise decision. And then we all live with the same result, right? With protections for the minority opinion, supermajority, you name it, right?
Yeah,
but we just that seems lacking. But I don't know. I think we, any big stuff, I check with my trusted counsel on everything big, I do. Yeah. Like, hey, here's what I'm facing, A, B, C, and you take some feedback. Yep, and then ultimately all you can do is you make the decision either collectively or individually.
Well, like you said the whole time, we're not alone in the deal. We do things that make ourselves alone, but really to value the input of the circle of people. I think that's probably mature, right? Husband and wife, they sit down, they talk it all over, right?
Sometimes.
What are we going to do?
Yeah.
The big decisions, you know what I'm saying? I think most of the time, probably. I'm not saying all the time. And different commercial people, you got a business, you might run it, you know, aggressively and
however you want.
Mono, you know, control. And that'll work.
Yeah.
You can get it done. Just by raw strength and determination, you could get it done.
Yeah.
But that might make you the guy that, you know, that's the guy that's alone. Tyrants.
Yeah.
Right. I don't personally find it attractive or a good model that I want to do, but it works. It works. But otherwise, I think rational people, or maybe calmer people, come home and say to their wives or to their husbands, this is what I'm thinking of, you know, and they reason together and talk it over.
Yeah. Interesting.
Or the sales team, what do you guys think? Should we launch the new product?
Yeah.
Do we invest?
Production says no.
Yeah, right. Do we invest in R&D?
Right. Oh, yeah.
Do we pull out of Venezuela?
Right. Oh, goodness. Look at all these fancy new computers. We got to cut this. What are we doing with all this payroll?
But somebody makes a decision, and someone's accountable.
Yeah. But, yeah. Right. Until stuff goes wrong, then you're back to the duck boat guy.
Your relationship and the environment, we're not alone. You need the other people. I think maybe you don't need. It's better to have them. It's better to have them. And really probably as many as you can. Yeah. When it goes sour or when it gets iffy, I think you create the environment where a guy can say, I'm a little worried about this.
Of course. Of course. Minority opinion. Does it change
and
decisions?
If it goes bad, you allow the guy to say, or the gal, I really stepped in it right there. You know, we never should have launched that Venezuela deal.
Individually or collectively.
I blew it.
But the point is,
we react and we want blood, right? Like, wow, you're the whatever CEO and you blew it and you got $14 million bonus. You're out of here. Or one guy says the wrong thing. Was it the football guy? He was betting on the game. Oh okay. Wow. This is reactionary. Just give him some space.
And yeah. So in terms of systems, right? I think it's like if you pull back, it's like you can't really blame individual people that take advantage of a system. You got to blame the people that put the system in place. Right. Okay, and if our systems are boom, and then
you can adjust it.
Like not if it's there's so much momentum, right?
That's true. That'd be hard.
Well, hard, not impossible, but boy, those types of corrections, right? People make complete life reversals. People make, who knows, man? I mean, I'm 52. I was thinking the other day, I was like, I would just like learning the piano or different things, right? I mean, I've done so many different things, you know, creatively and expression and interests and things like that. We're taking pictures. I was telling the story about the Eagles. You know, I talked to my buddy the other day about theater. Like life is so rich and there's so many things to explore. But it's like, but the major life redirections, they're very few, right? They're very few, but boy, can they be profound. Yeah. And it can change on a dime. Mm-hmm. It could change with a new idea. Mm-hmm. It could change, like we said, through suffering. It could change through, like a lot of people, like people are starved for inspiration. Like you listen to a good story of some person, you know, that overcame XYZ or, you know, the people that use their feet as hands doing art, I mean, or whatever. It's like, that is a damn good story. Or just inspiration. You know, kids struggling to overcome stuff, health crisis, you name it. There's so many inspiring stories, you know. Mm-hmm. So I think we're all looking for that. And the life transformative things. I mean, who's it? My buddy the other day. He's like, why am I weeping at this Coca-Cola commercial? It's like, that's the place he's at. He's at a certain place where it's like,
Yeah.
what do you remember? What do you remember from that life-changing thing, right? We all got stories, but my one story, boy, this story is 34 years old, but I was in treatment, like, I don't know, a couple weeks from not drinking or drugging, whatever, right? So, that's not the important part of the story. The important part of the story is this was a life-changing moment for me. And I was really dealing with the thing, and in the day, and I went to sleep one night. And maybe I'll tell the story at some other point about this 151 story. And I couldn't go to sleep for a couple of years. Anyway, but I was struggling with this thing, and I was trying to work a new way of being, really. Thought, meditation, prayer, you name it. And I fell asleep. I woke up, and there was like 10, 12 inches of new snow. And I remember it just so palpably. It's like, I'm telling the story now, 34 years later. This was one of those turning points where we're righting the ship, I like the boating theme of all this. The duck boat, right the ship, sailing, fishing. We ain't even talked about fishing, right?
We should save that for episode 2.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about. But listen, do you like this conversation, this forum?
Sure.
Just exploring different stuff. So,
well, it's mining. We're mining some ideas,
perspective. Yeah. Maybe approaching something like
and
wisdom.
Somebody might find it, useful.
Yeah, I don't know.
worth something.
Yeah.
You're talking about a fruit tree goes through all the work, right? And it used to be every other year apple tree would, and they're like 100 years old. Apple trees go like 100 years old or something like this, right? I mean, 100.
Yeah.
And they go through the work and they yield up an apple, or lots of them. And whether you're there to pick it or not,
right,
it does the work, and bam, there's a beautiful apple.
Right.
If you're not there, it'll fall, or animal, bird, deer, moose, whatever. And you think, you go through all the trouble, right, of going through everything and then producing the fruit in its due season, and all to just fall on the ground, right? There it goes.
Right. It's opportunity cost.
It's just, it came, it did the work, it produced the fruit.
It's available.
Tree's going to do it again next year. And it's like financial stuff. How so often in your life, a couple of times, where you get the breakthroughs, like you're talking about the life-changing event.
Mm-hmm.
Every so often you get your financial breakthroughs, right? Like, so you got a job out of college.
Windfall, whatever, yeah.
Or you got to go to college.
Yeah.
And then after that 10 years in, we're gonna build a new house, or we're gonna whatever. We made partner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden your salary, or someone dies. Auntie, that owned the coat factory died.
Yeah, points of reflection.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, just financially, you get windfall a couple times in your life.
Maybe, yeah.
And you get these windfall, wisdom windfalls.
Oh, right, sure.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to treat people differently.
Very similar, yeah. They're just pattern. They pattern the same thing, yeah.
You didn't even have hardly nothing to do with it. It just is a tree bearing the fruit. Right? It's going to do it, and life will do it for everybody alive.
Yeah.
As you age.
Yeah.
And then here's the cool thing. You die. 80, 90, 100 years old, you're out. Happens all over again with another 8 billion people.
Yeah.
8 billion different
yeah.
apple trees,
right,
fruit
sure,
trees.
Yeah.
They're going to yield fruit in their season, go through all the work, and that thing just rolls right along, and no one ever even knows we were here.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
But I produced them couple of apples
that
were there to behold for a minute.
Yeah.
And then, bam-o, nothing. Off
sure.
they go.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
seed,
wonderful.
Each one bearing the seed in itself for propagation of.
Yeah.
And I would say propagation of good, as much of the good seed as I could sow.
Yeah.
That's what I would want to do.
Sure. All right. On that note, More coffee. Love you, brother.
Yeah, I love you too.
Yeah, appreciate the talk. And hopefully the audience has enjoyed it. We shall do more.
And for part 2, the dog is going to play.
Little Annie.
The piano.
All right, stick around for more Rephetic conversations. To know who we are, and where we're going, we must know how we arrived here. Welcome to Rephetic, a revolutionary study of the Great Pyramid, which promises to rewrite civilization's history